Good morning and afternoon to you East Coasters. Welcome to the Fantasy Forecast for Saturday, April 23rd, 2016. Got a nice little show for you here guys today. We've got all your optimal lineups plus your regulars. Yesterday, my optimal, it's the only result I'm going to review, as it was a typical day. There were a couple that were really well. Mine, I think, hit 290, but it was a strange day, and it was right on the very edge of cash in a couple of mine. So some of you may not have cash if you use my direct optimal. So I always try to give you guys these things. You can try to throw together your own. It's the whole point of the show. You see what your competition is as well. I'm still giving you a lineup if you don't have time to study it. And if you're doing smart bankroll management, you can handle an occasional loss. It happens to every player, even the best. All right, let's move on. We start out with Roto Grinders. Excuse me, guys. Roto Grinders has Lillard and Walker in point guard positions. They're projecting Lillard at 42 and Walker at 40. At the shot guard, we've got Lynn and Matthews. Lynn's being projected at 24 and Matthews is being projected at 27. At the small forward, we have Durant and George. You're going to find KD and Paul George everywhere today, guys. Across all optimals. I just couldn't find... There's barely any breaks. If they did break, they went off Kevin Durant and went all the way down to a punt. So, KD's projecting at 49. Paul George is projecting at 43. Power forward, we got Turner and Williams. Turner's projecting at 25, and Williams is projecting at 24. And at center, they have Cantor, and he's projecting at 23. Okay, that's the Roto Grinders optimal for today. Here's RotoWire. Let's take a look there while I scroll over to its data. All right. We got Westbrook and Lowry in the point guard positions. Westbrook's projecting at 50 points. Lowry's projecting at 38. We have Matthews and Harris in the shot guard positions. They punted. 24 for Wesley Matthews, 18 for Devin Harris. I'd be looking at Courtney Lee in the area today there, or Jeremy Lin, and there's just more value with Batum being out on Charlotte. Those guys are mispriced. You don't need to be loading up on the... I mean, if Deron Williams is out, yeah, Devin Harris is a good play. But we don't even know if Deron Williams is going to be out yet. They're still saying he's questionable right now. You're probably not going to know until after lock because FanDuel won't let you late swap. So you either take a gamble or you stay away. I'm a fan of staying away, even though this is their preferred lineup. So I don't have them, but they do. At small forward, we've got Durant and Winslow. Excuse me, guys. It's morning over here. I'm just waking up. Durant's projecting at 49. Winslow's projecting at 17. At the power forward, we've got Dirk and Easy Ed. Dirk's coming in at 32, and Ed's coming in at 21. And he's actually their best value on the board if he does 21 points, even projecting at just 21 minutes. And we got DeAndre Jordan at center, and he's projecting at 35 points. I really don't like paying that much for center just to get 35. I want like a 45-point performance for that price, but I just don't see where you guys are going to be able to find it today. Center is a really, really tough position. It's tough everywhere in the playoffs. You have short slates you're dealing with. Actually, you guys, I take it back. We're lucky. We have 4 games to work with instead of 2. All right, moving on. Oh, by the way, this was projected at 282 points for the whole lineup, and the first one that was projecting at 297. So they're projecting this 15 points lower, but you know the projections don't really mean all that much. They're usually off by about 10% or dead on. This is the RotoQL app, the number 1. Okay, so we have Westbrook and Lillard in the point guard again. Westbrook projecting at 48 points. Lillard projecting at 40. We've got Jamal Crawford and Solomon Hill in the shot guard. They punted it, but they punted it in a completely different way. I mean, let me show you real fast. I mean, just on an edit here. Look at the other people you could get at the shot guard. Now, they must like Clipper, and I mean, I'll give you the projections in a moment, but you can literally swap Crawford for Lynn. And we know Batum's out. Lynn might get the start, even. At 4,200, you got to be kidding me. I'd be doing that over Crawford all day long. Same thing at the 3,700 spot. You got Dion Waiters, instead of Solomon Hill, that's a possibility too. He's been putting up the minutes and the time, and I don't know. That's where I went with mine. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but especially the Crawford move. I don't know why you don't have Journeyman there. That's where narrative, guys. You got to read narratives sometimes on these things and cancel. Stupid thing. There we go. Okay. We got KD and Paul George again at small forward. The projections, by the way, Jamal Crawford was projected at 32, which is actually very high, which is why they had him. And they were projecting Solomon Hill at 31. Now that might be with Ian Mahimbi, like if he's sitting out, and I think I did get word he was out, and maybe he's taken his spot. And if he is, that would actually be a really good play. So I can understand that then. Paul George and Kevin Durant. KD's projecting at 48, and George is projecting at 32. That's not good. For 9,000 on Paul George at a projection of 32 is not good. Really, that's less than 4 times value. There's got to be a better way to spend the money. I'm sorry, there just has to be. If that was their projection, I don't even know why he's in there. But at power forward, they've got Dirk Nowitzki and Frank Kaminsky. Man, Roto QL is all over the place today. Dirk Nowitzki is clocking in at 29. Kaminsky is checking in at 22, which is an amazing value. That must be again off the Batum thing, at minimum. Maybe he is the guy to take up off of it. And they got Cole Aldrich yet again. And I said he wasn't going to get 30 yesterday, and he didn't. But he got closer. Even though he only had like 12 or 13 minutes, somehow that fool put up 21 fantasy points. I was really impressed because that was within 10 of their projection. It's the same deal again tonight, guys. They've got him projected 31. He's not going to get the time with DeAndre Jordan in there. 21 is the ceiling now. I would have said 12, but after yesterday, he proved the ceiling is 21. They're projecting the whole lineup at 312. Take away the 10 points extra for Cole Aldridge because he's at 31, and this is like a 301, 302 projection. It's still a very interesting and impressive lineup. I would not be discounting this one today. Okay, moving on. Okay, who do I have now? I think we have Daily Fantasy Cafe now. Daily Fantasy Cafe is Lillard and Westbrook in the point guard. Westbrook projecting at 50. Lillard projecting at 41. Man, that is a theme, Westbrook and Lillard, right there in those two shots. We got McCollum and DeRozan in the shot guard. Now, they actually elected to spend up a little bit here. This is the first lineup I've seen to do it. They're projecting McCollum at 33 points and DeRozan at 35 points, which is more in line with their pricing, too. Okay. And they punted out Durant. They went all the way down to Jeff Green here, and they're projecting him at 22 points somehow. I don't know how you get more than 6. That's a really high projection for Jeff Green, but if they're correct on that, then it's a bargain, and he fills the rest of your lineup out. They got Paul George in there. They're projecting him much higher than that 32 that RotoQL was showing. They're showing him at 44, and I like him at that. You guys are looking at the differences between ceilings and floor and whether optimizers believe in them or not, and whether they use random iterations and whether they use standard deviations to determine things. Statistics and numbers really do determine this game a lot, guys, and studying variances and things like that can really pay off. There's a reason why there's a school of thought as to whether you just try to do your very best lineup, guys, or whether you try to do multiple lineups. If you do a bunch of multiple lineups at a cheap price and you have a core of players that you know are just strong, but the rest of them you're not so sure on, and you cycle them in and out in every different combination that you can, you end up with like 30 or 40 different tickets. And that is the strategy that some other pros follow. They believe that you need to enter a lot of different lineups in the exact same contest, and that 1 or 2 of them will hit, and that most of them will win because they'll have the strong core. That's their belief. Either do one single lineup or do a bunch of lineups. And all of them across the board do believe that there should be one strong lineup that you use for cash only games. They don't believe in doing multiple lineups in cash games. If you're doing multiple lineups and you're running them in cash as well, you should be thinking about that strategy. You should only have one cash lineup. You should have multiple tournament lineups, no problems, but you should only have one cash lineup. There's only one lineup you think is the best, and that's the one you should be running. All right, sorry, didn't mean to kind of patronize there, but it's really important, guys, especially for bankroll, that you guys learn these tips and tricks. and jump into the fray as to whether you want to be a 1 lineup player or a 40 lineup player. Okay, that was Daily Fantasy Cafe. They're projecting the whole thing at 305 points. Like I said, they had Paul George and Ed Davis at the small forward, or Jeff Green and Paul George. Paul George projecting at 44 and Green at 22. We had Easy Ed and Marvin Williams at power forward. Ed's projecting at 22 and Marvin's projecting at 27. And Plumlee at center, he was projecting at 29. So the whole lineup was projecting at 305. And that's Daily Fantasy Cafe. Now this is Daily Fantasy Nerd, I believe. Yeah, he's got Westbrook and Barea for the point guards, projecting Westbrook at 48 points, Barea at 25 points. We've got Courtney Lee and Jeremy Lin at the shot guard. I really like that. I just think that's strong. They're projecting 26 fantasy points for Lin and 22 points for Lee, which is good with their values, especially for Lin. We got KD and Paul George for small forward, of course. Kevin Durant's projecting at 47. Paul George is projecting at 40. We have David Lee, who's questionable, but will probably play, and Blake Griffin. Now, the Lee thing is a punt there, guys, obviously. You're playing that Deron Williams is out and they're going to give Lee some time. I'm not so sure about it. It's a questionable one, but you're getting Blake Griffin in, and I haven't seen any other lineup do that yet, so that's pretty nice. Blake Griffin's projected at 40, and you got Lee projecting it 19 points, 18 and a half. I'll round up to 19. At center, we got Cantor, and he's projecting at 24. The entire lineup projects at 290. And let's go to our last lineup, Fantasy Pros, before I do my optimal. Fantasy Pros has for us today. I can't believe how many new... This is incredible. Westbrook and Lillard in the point guard position. Lin and DeRozan in the shot guard position. KD and Green for the small forward, so they punted down George. Dirk and Mo Williams for power forward. And center Zaza Pachulia. Projections in order: 49, 40, 21 for Lin, and 35 for DeRozan. KD at 46, Green at 21. Dirk at 30, Mo Williams at 24, and Zaza at 23, for a total score of 288, or a projection, that is. And that's it. And I'm going to take you guys over to mine. This is my recommended optimal cash lineup for today, guys. Always remember, it's a cash lineup, even though I'm showing it to you in a tournament. This is just how I remember. And I've got Westbrook and Felton. I don't think Deron Williams is 100%, and I think that if they do try to play him, they're going to yank him out after just 5 or 10 minutes, and that Felton, once again, is the beneficiary. He's also proven he's the best one on their damn team, besides Bray and the others. If I can afford Felton at this price level, when he should be priced at 68, 7,000, I'm nabbing him. There's a lot of options right here in the point guard position, guys. Kemba Walker looks strong today, too, but I went all the way up to Westbrook because I can afford it. I like Westbrook and Durant to finally have a decent game against Dallas. They played really tight on their last one. It was shocking that Dallas won. I think this time they're just going to come out there and be monsters. I really do. I think the two of them are just going to go balls to the wall, and I've got them. I got Oklahoma right there. I think they're going to crush them so bad that Waiters coming up there in the shot guard is going to see time, along with Jeremy Lin, who's going to be a starter. Mark my words, guys, with Bainham out. You take Lin at that starting with the 30 minutes, you're going to project 32 minutes, you're going to love it at 4,200. Same with Waiters. Westbrook and KD have your 50, 55 points, and they're up by 25 at half. You got darn right, Waiters is going to start seeing some times as they both sit the whole fourth. And he's going to be, jumping in and out as he's their primary option off the bench. And he's probably going to see 25 minutes in this one. I love it at 3,700. I was able to get KD and George, of course, and KD is part of that stack with OKC and Ibaka coming up. I want the triple stack. I want Ibaka in there too. Yes, I do. I want the quad. You see it, all four. I mean, if I tried to add one more guy from Oklahoma, it wouldn't let me. They're the highest scoring team, projected up there, and I want exposure on this game. I like it a lot. At Dallas, after they just beat them, it could stay close or it could be a blowout, but either direction, it still plays in my favor fantasy-wise. If it's 120 to 100, that's good. If it's 100 to 100 and it hits overtime, that's good. I could care less either way, but it all reads to me, grab your Oklahoma City players. So this is a quad stack on that direction, and it's also a triple stack on Charlotte if you look at it, and taking advantage of the Batum injury. You got Al Jefferson at the bottom there, even upgraded from Plumlee, who is in a strong position now. Batum's minutes and shots and all of that has to go somewhere now, guys. He played 40 minutes in a game. It's all got to be spread among the rest of it. Mo Williams is going to see more time. Jefferson's going to see more time. But the main person's going to see more time is Lynn, who will now start in his place instead of coming off the bench. All right, and so that kind of explains the lineup to you guys. I would project this to be a little bit higher than the other ones, but not much higher. I mean, maybe around a 315 or so. I mean, I'm not looking at a wonderful, wonderful lineup here, but I'm not trying to, like I said, I'm always trying to get you guys a cash win. I'm not trying to hit a tournament here. Okay, that's Fantasy Forecast for this Saturday. I hope you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and subscribe if you want notices when new videos come out. We have a giveaway. I don't know how to do the giveaway exactly. I want to get everyone involved. I have a list of all the subs for 200. Do I just throw you guys all into a hat or something, and then, everyone gets assigned a number, and heck, I play a lineup, and wherever the last two numbers are, whatever the score kind of ends up at. So if it's like 86 or whatever, number 86 wins. I don't know how to do this exactly. I'm trying to figure out a good, fair way to do it. I won't involve Twitter. I'll do it through YouTube here to make it a YouTube contest because it was about YouTube subscribers. And I wanted to thank you guys all for getting up to 200. That's very, very nice. I really appreciate that you guys take the time to listen and that you guys talk to me on Twitter at MikeMiller78 and that you guys are all interested in some of the analytics behind DFS. All right. Go on out there, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and please, go win some money.